I never imagined my life could turn upside down in such a cruel, twisted way. But it did. My wife, Jessica, and I had been married for 7 years. We had a home, careers, and plans for a family. My cousin Ryan was part of my life too. Someone I trusted like a brother. I never thought either of them could betray me in the way they did. It started with the subtle signs. Jessica became distant. Distant in ways I didn't understand. She spent more time out with friends, started hiding her phone, and had new excuses for every little thing. I brushed it off at first, telling myself it was paranoia, that I was imagining things. Then the truth hit like a punch in the stomach. One evening, Jessica sat me down with a strange mixture of guilt and defiance in her eyes. "I have something to tell you," she said. My heart raced. I braced myself for a miscarriage scare, maybe a family emergency, anything, but not this. "I'm pregnant," she said. Relief should have flooded me, but something in her tone made me uneasy. "And it's not yours." I froze. My mind went blank. "What? What do you mean it's not mine?" I managed to choke out. She swallowed, then whispered, "It's Ryan's. I didn't mean for it to happen this way, but it did." Time stopped. The room spun. My wife had cheated on me with my cousin. My cousin, the man I grew up with, the one I trusted. I couldn't speak. I couldn't breathe. My stomach turned over in nausea and disbelief. She tried to explain, to apologize, to make excuses, but her words were meaningless. The betrayal had already etched itself into my life, my family, and my mind. Then came the most surreal, gut-wrenching moment of all. A week later, Ryan called me. He asked me to meet him at a cafe. Hesitant but curious, I agreed. When I arrived, he smiled awkwardly. "Hey, I wanted to ask you something," he said. My chest tightened. I braced for more accusations, more excuses, more betrayal. But nothing could have prepared me for what came next. "I'm getting married," he said, grinning. I blinked. My heart sank. "To Jessica?" I asked quietly, disbelief lacing my words. He shook his head. "No, not her. Someone else. But I wanted to ask you to be my best man." I stared at him, speechless. My wife had an affair with my cousin, got pregnant with his child, and now he expected me to stand beside him on his wedding day. I felt rage, humiliation, and disbelief all at once. I wanted to scream. I wanted to punch him. I wanted to disappear and pretend none of it ever happened. But I couldn't. I left the cafe without a word. I didn't answer his calls. I didn't respond to his texts. I needed space. I needed to think. I needed to understand how the people I loved could betray me in such an unimaginable way. Over the next few weeks, I confronted Jessica. I demanded honesty. I discovered more lies, more deceit, more hidden details about the affair. Each revelation was like a dagger twisting in my chest. I realized then that my marriage was over, not just because of infidelity, but because of the sheer audacity, the disrespect, and the cruelty of what had happened. Trust, once broken in such a calculated way, cannot be repaired. I filed for divorce. I moved out. I focused on rebuilding my life, piece by piece. Friends and family rallied around me, but even their support couldn't erase the memory of betrayal, of the child that wasn't mine, of the cousin I had once called brother. Months later, I heard Ryan got married. I didn't attend. I didn't even respond to the wedding invitation. I realized that some bridges don't need crossing. Some relationships don't need mending. Some betrayals are too deep, too raw, and too final. The child? I decided to distance myself entirely. It wasn't about cruelty. It was about protecting myself from further pain. The thought of being around that reminder of betrayal was unbearable. It's been a year since the truth came out. My heart still aches when I think about what happened. But I've also grown stronger. I've learned to trust carefully, to set boundaries, and to recognize that some people will betray without remorse, and there's nothing you can do to change that. I don't hate my cousin, well, not publicly, but I'll never forgive him. And I don't blame the child. They are innocent. But as for Jessica, I have nothing left. She shattered everything we had. The love, the trust, the years. It's all gone. Sometimes, late at night, I replay that moment when Ryan smiled and asked me to be his best man. I wonder if he imagined my reaction, if he cared. I don't think he did. But I also know one thing. I survived it. I left it behind. And I'll never let someone treat me that way again. Life has a way of testing you, of breaking you down and forcing you to rebuild. And while the betrayal hurt in ways I can't describe, I came out stronger, smarter, wiser. The lesson is simple. Love doesn't excuse betrayal. Family doesn't excuse deceit. And some people aren't meant to be in your life forever. I lost a wife, a cousin, a future I thought was secure. But I found myself, and that's the only thing worth holding on to.